Okay.
Here at the Odious Studio.
Um, Damn it. There it is. Okay. So I've got
Did you post it
two
in
screens up.
Discord?
I did post it on Discord, yeah.
Sweet.
Um, so, um, yeah. How you doing?
Not bad. Vacation was good.
Oh yeah. How far out do you think Choose is?
Hopefully next week.
Where we basically have to test it, and that's it, right? That's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean this morning all I was working on was fixing bugs. No new development.
Yeah. We're breaking Twitch TOS right now. Just too sexy
What?
for um let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I need to do the font thing as well. I'm gonna do that this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's why I was asking you about it. I think Layla or Lila is really good. It's nice and thick, like blocky, and um, yeah. Hi Luco, welcome to the stream. Let's see. Okay. Um, huh. Okay, cool. All right, so we got 9 people in here. Let's just get started.
Great.
But last one is Melitus.
Yeah.
It's getting in.
Yep, it's happening. Will it or will it not break the game? We'll find out.
Oh no, Luca's gonna miss the Q&A. Well, we'll upload this to YouTube. The stream last time got deleted accidentally, but we won't do that this time.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. Whoa. What is that even?
Uh-oh.
Probably my
Time to...
password for something, but I don't know what.
Oh, God. Okay. Maybe we won't upload this. Number one is DJ Pugstep. Here it is. Send this to your mom.
Yeah, this is pretty great.
It is.
Uh,
This was a long, long time coming.
it
I'm glad to
was.
see that it finally got in.
So the token this creates is
Drop the bass.
I need to okay. Nick doesn't get to be huge anymore.
You can I mean you could make it big or
Make
bigger, right?
you were as big as Zoom would let me make it
I see. No, I
for
mean the... Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
I think you can just have our heads over stuff because you're not looking at that, are you? Or is it
I
in
need
your
to be able
way?
to see what's behind, going on in the
Okay.
editor.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So drop the bass says choose a unit, force DJ Pugstep to duel it, and both
Yeah.
players get one.
Yeah, so I don't actually get this card. Uh, like what's the point? I guess it's like you play it and then it uh you play it like off initiative and then you use its thing to have it hit something and then you play it again. It doesn't really seem very good, but
I think it's more just fun.
yeah, it certainly has a line in it about dropping the bass. So you know, that's that's what you asked for. That's what you got.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
And
Uh-oh.
what just happened?
I mean the game froze. Um,
That never happens.
what what happened there? Okay, well
That was
we'll
super
definitely
weird.
have to test this again after the stream for sure. You run it to in draw logs? I don't think you do. Um, all right. Well,
Apparently
yeah,
this I think
yeah,
this is clearly this wasn't tested or something.
yeah. Can we look at the blocks?
Maybe let's see in hand per owner append opponent.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Maybe if you like try to create a card
That
for.
doesn't seem like it should work. You would just have a line which says "put it in your hand, put it in your opponent's hand."
No, it should work. It
That really would work.
probably there's a bug in. It must be like a bug in like creating units for both, cards for both players at the same time or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, I mean this can be fixed, but it's
Yeah.
seems to
500.
be bugged right now unless somebody can prove otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, we'll. I think. I don't know. It's pretty clever, but I think we probably could have just had two separate lines there.
Yeah, that would definitely work. Probably. The all right. So next update or next card is
Gift of Peace.
Gift of
Remove draw.
Peace update. Long awaited.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
the
was
card.
talking to somebody about this, and I like looked back in my message history, and there's like I have like 20 messages where I call this card out as busted. Very, um, really glad to see this get in.
So
And
was the tournament the reason this finally got nerfed?
so my theory here is, and the theory has always been that updates are that free updates will allow people to update things that are not hurting the meta. That basically will get like the theory was we'll get like three good updates every week. This week we got two. Lucrative expedition didn't get in, which is unfortunate. But I think this is a case of people updating something because they know it's too good, but it's not it's not oppressive or anything like that. Um, so in that sense, I think this is a big success with the new update system. Um, yeah, and that's why it got in this week because this has been posted before. But uh, yeah,
Sounds
so
good.
I'm really happy with this, and yeah, it's looking positive for the new update system.
Okay, next, I'm not gonna really look at these, but cosmetic update for psychedelic sheep. It's now an uncommon.
Yep.
Consuming horror is now has slightly different art.
Yeah, there's a background now.
hmm That's nice. Updating those week one cards.
Yeah.
Our second card of the week is Heartbeat.
Yeah. So heartbeat is really interesting because I think it might have like a pretty major impact on the meta. Because right now um, there's this whole thing where every aggro strategy is X ones,
hmm
like every single one of it, and this now is a way to play, to give all your tokens +1 HP. It doesn't look like a huge deal, but it's efficiently statted, and I think this will actually be a pretty huge deal.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Especially because like apparently Baluch tokens is actually very 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 good right now. Um, I feel like we might get a nerf to the Meeple card next week. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's warranted or not, but that seems to be what people are saying.
Anyway, the effect's very simple.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this needs to be reset.
Base was dropped. It's just too hard. Okay. Just wait around for 5 turns. Or we could use the editor tools cards.
We could just make like three of them.
Yep. That's true. Landmine as well. Acid rain. Yeah, I mean, those are essentially the big deal. Ooh, ooh, nice. Okay.
So does it do that part? Is that a directed particle or a
It's a directed particle.
interesting? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, card's simple. It works. Might break the game. Sounds good. 2K.
how you get a card into collective. People see it and they think this might destroy everything.
Dust Settler. Ooh,
Yeah, this card looks
this guy.
incredible. The end of turn, if 3 or more friendly units died this turn, put this from your hand into play. So it's kind of like Jumping Spider. This is another, I guess, this is another aggro buff card, although it's in strength, which is great because strength aggro used to be like a major archetype, and it just seems like it's not around. People are just entirely making Pearl decks in strength. I don't think people are even really playing Heldem right now.
Hmm.
Or
Yeah, I
not
think
right now.
this. I mean, this could also go in like the sack deck,
That's
eventually.
true as well. Yeah. Although the flavor, I'm not sure. Yeah, fits into Baluch tokens. That's a good point. You don't have to play it, so
Yeah.
you just have it in your hand.
Maybe somebody will update this to be exclusive.
That would be interesting.
That would be
Yeah.
cool, in my
Um,
opinion. Um,
you have to destroy some of your own guys.
yeah.
I think that the
These all are actives.
uh, too, too lazy for the editor cards. Oop. Whoa. Hello. I like it a lot. That's great. There's all these there's a bunch of wacky animations in there. I love the going to the resolving zone for no reason. I mean, it's probably not necessarily all that healthy.
Yeah, it'll probably cause
Go to
problems
resolving zone.
eventually.
This works into the initiative assault out combo. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe
No,
Dark Force.
DJ had bugs. It like crashed the game when you play it.
Yeah, I think that it'll be very easy to fix. All it does is make a card in your hand and your opponent's hand. Um, so yeah. So it's Hazar that made the Dust Settler animations. That's awesome. Okay. I like how it was really fast too. It was very cool. Memento the Restless. Oh, okay. Bonk Choi card getting in. That's great. Whenever an enemy dies, create an undead card. Oh, this card, right. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of scared about this because it does feel like it's sort of polluting the graveyard design space a bit. I guess it's whenever an enemy dies. So the original printing of the card was whenever anything dies, but it does just fill up your graveyard with tons of stuff. Interesting combos with cards like Gravelord, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's good rare for sure. Um, and yeah, it's random. So ooh, oh, oh wow, got a big blast of lore there.
Yeah.
It probably won't attack in, so you have to kill it. See, if you had just used an editor card, then wouldn't have to have gone back in. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Going all out. Okay, so you got that back. Can you look in your graveyard right now? It still has the old one? Oh, it's because of the destroy a unit, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it return the top card of your graveyard?
No, it's the return an undead in your grave. Okay, it doesn't specify.
Undead. Okay, yeah. I mean, that seems fine.
So it should be random.
Mm-hmm.
Active. remove random item from cards will display discard. Yeah. Okay. Looks good.
Yep.
Card works.
Nice. 2000.
Here it is. Red Dragon Monarch update. So this is just a cost buff.
Yeah, I think that's literally it.
I forget who posted it, but
I think it was probably BGG.
yeah, I suspected because of the tick reduction.
Oh yeah, that's it as well. DJ's not in limbo. We'll just fix it. It'll take like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It still gets the punishment because it breaks the game when you play it. Okay. Pyramidian Squad, rare to uncommon. Consuming Horror, rare to uncommon. So we had two Consuming Horror.
Rare to common.
Rare to common. Okay. You guys have weird ideas of what a common is.
Yeah, this doesn't. Well, I don't know. Whatever. It's not that good, so maybe it can be a common, but it's kind of complicated for a common. But
Thanks
whatever.
a lot, Feathers. Yeah. We're trying to get more girls in the game, so I had to step it up.
All right. Arcane Power Staff.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes.
Yeah. Have you seen this card? This card's great. It's like a well, you can read it.
Yeah. Give a friendly unit ward and active counter your first resolving card and deal damage equal to its cost, randomly split among enemies.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So it's kind of like a spell. What is it? What's the thing? Spell Weaver, Spell Crafter from Magic, where you like discard a card and you get an effect or something, although it's based on the card's cost. I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's really interesting because it does turn everything into an incendium basically, but it's an aura. So
it's an aura that gives ward.
It's an aura that gives ward. Yeah.
So
I think that. I mean,
it's
like,
pretty good.
I think it's quite strong. I'm interested to see like exactly how strong. Yeah, the ward is like, I think that they thought it through. They realized that weapons and armor are terrible if the unit just gets removed. You can't even use it that turn. So I think it might be balanced for collective. I'm not sure though. Whoa. Oh right, it's got two actives. Wait. You did it in the wrong order. It's gonna play the card first.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Here they come.
And
what was that?
That was the animation for the thing which failed.
Oh. Alright, let's try this again.
Ooh.
Value.
Got him. Yeah.
Why did...
Wait, why
oh, because of it's creating the tokens. This is why we have animation limits, or emote limits.
Our emote limits, oh, they're turned off in the editor, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Why did it emote there?
Because of the units dying, it was creating the undead copies in my graveyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, card works.
That emote is not going to happen in a real game because the emote limits are turned off in the editor, Mr. Magoo. So you don't have to worry about that, luckily.
Cassiel's Guard. When you attack with exactly one unit, that unit gets +1/+1.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Not a mechanic from Magic. So don't even pretend it is.
It's not because it doesn't give a +1/+1 counter like this.
That's not what exalted is.
Exalted is only until end of turn.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So it's not a yeah. Exactly. So it's not a mechanic from Magic.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's yeah. I always forget that +1/+1 is permanent. It's or not permanent, but which I think is really cool. Boom. That was pretty fast, which is nice.
Yep.
I like it when animations just happen real fast. They just snap it off. Uh, you can even attack with Cassiel's guard. Man, more Helden buffs. Okay.
Yeah, I guess this is a pretty
It
nice
is.
one drop for.
It's a one drop, man. Yeah.
Yeah. All
It's
right.
really strong. Damn.
People aren't slowing down with the power creep this week.
Yeah. Why would you? There's free updates now. You can print whatever the fuck you want. Dwarven Foreman. Yeah. Well, we better do it this turn.
If you have less than 5 mana, max mana, gain +1 max mana.
Yeah, so the dwarves are this interesting tribal idea where it's based on the idea that you keep around 5 mana max. And so this
Huh.
is like the first one that got in, but yeah, they have the idea is that they're gonna have other dwarves which have you like lose a mana if you have over 5 mana, and then it has a powerful effect or something like that.
Yeah,
Really cool idea, I think.
because as it stands, this by itself, it pretty much you have to drop it turn 3
Mm-hmm.
in order to use it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's like
Well,
got
I think
fairish
that
stats, so
it's
it's not the end of the world.
it's actually it's like because you would have multiple dwarves which all lower your max mana.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have like 7 mana and you have like 3 dwarves. They go down to 4 because they all use actives that lose mana if you're over
Yeah.
5, and then you go back up to 5. That's the idea. I guess I am kind of concerned that the dwarf is just it would be terrible to just play it in a non-dwarf deck. It's just like yes, it's good if you play it on turn 3, and then it's not good if you play it any other time.
Yeah.
Just a 2 drop or a 3/3. First turn
I guess it is
promo.
good in Proma
Yeah.
because of the coins,
Yeah.
which I don't know. Hopefully that won't be a problem.
It's not a problem. Proma is perfectly balanced. You can just read the chat. Everybody will agree with me there.
Yep. All right.
So this is
So
the third in a cycle of letter letter apostrophe letter letter magicians arcanists that have I don't want to go into the full details of the cycle because it's complicated.
all right, when this deals combat damage, pay all of your mana to deal that much damage to a random enemy unit. Whenever an enemy unit dies, create a 1/1 flame.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's flavorful because reading is for wizards, and that's what this cycle is all about.
That's why wizards made magic.
Yep.
Ta-da!
There it
There it
is.
is. I guess 1/1 flame is unnecessary because we have the token reminder text now.
It's still nice to have.
Mm. Well, we've taken it out of everything else, so we're going to take it out of this one.
Oh, we have?
Yeah. Kablooey. Wow.
There it
There it
goes.
is. It works.
All right.
Looks great.
Looks great. Art's great. I love the cute little flame.
Yeah, it's adorable. Yeah. Just so used to the fantastic art now. I don't even bring it up, but yeah, really, really good art. I like the color palette and etc. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Radioactive mutagen. Oh, this is that
Oh, this
crazy
is getting in. Okay.
polymerization card.
Yeah.
Counter your next 2 units, resolving this turn that costs 6 or less. Create a mutant with the combined attack HP cost and non-summon abilities.
Alec is sighing because he's just so relieved that this awesome card is getting in.
I'm just sighing because I'm not looking forward to the bugs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's awesome.
I think that there was a bug where it had two summons and they made it so it's non-summon abilities.
Yeah.
Um, don't put Fluffy Boy. That's my recommendation. So we had, I mean, Ambush and then Party Supplier, I guess. Oh,
I don't know. Let's see what happens.
what's the most disgusting mutant you think you can make? Yeah, Undying Chicken Vox seems pretty bad to me. You would need 15 mana for that. I guess Vox isn't even that bad because it doesn't get the summon again. It would just appear. I don't know what the most broken thing is, but we're gonna find out.
uh, well, no, Vox costs too much for
I
radioactive
know. I said
mutagen.
it would cost 15. Oh, right. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
That's
unless
right.
you figure out some way to shrink Vox to cost less than. You know what this would be broken with is Foresight.
Cursed Hero.
Oh yeah, that would. Well, yeah. Spoilers: Cursed Hero's getting nerfed.
Yeah. We don't actually have patch notes. We just have spoilers.
Anyway, well, I'm sure there's probably a case where there's a problem with this card, but like for now, good job. Seems to work.
Yeah. They tried it a lot.
Okay, that's awesome.
What did I change my mind on? Oh,
Cursed Hero.
on Cursed Hero, yeah. Well, that's because I mean, we might as well say right now we're deprecating Exemplar because uh, I don't know. Somebody said in Discord, pretty bad keyword if you can't make anything with that keyword. Uh, I think it's a pretty good point. Obviously, cards like Elder of the Spire will still have the effect of whenever it deals damage, you get this much XP. Nothing changes, but we're not going to have Exemplar be an official keyword anymore because uh, it's really hard to balance, and people just don't make cards with Exemplar. Yeah, that's right. Also, again, thanks to Alex Mom for the shirt. Uh, okay, so last one is
Archmage
Archmage
Meletus.
Meletus. Yeah, this is tragically the last piece of Drew art that we've seen in quite a while. Yeah, it's old. It's from when Drew was still in the game.
Hmm.
Really good piece of art. Uh, and yeah, it counters the thing that you play each turn. Doesn't stack. No uppercut for you. Oh, never mind. Uh-oh. What happened?
I assume it doesn't start working until the next turn.
Yeah, I think so. Did we get a fast effect of the game? No. That's also something we're really strongly considering adding in the next few days. So, yeah. Well, it was fast that we decided that we were going to add fast. But I don't know if this card can really be considered fast. Ah, it didn't. Wait, did that work? No?
I'm just seeing if it will, stack like
I
it
didn't
says.
see it counter the thing, but okay. Boom. Ta da. Oh, it still happens.
Wait,
Okay.
what happened?
Royal.
Oh, yeah, because she
Roll
deal
with an
she dealt
A.
damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, this looks great. 2,000 gold for you.
Sweet.
And this is week 40.
Yeah. So next on the agenda is um, free form discussion about the QA questions. Q&A.
What?
Do you have the link to them?
Do
The
you want me to just pull up the open the doc here?
yes.
Okay, here it
And
is.
so this is for the real fans. This is for the people who wanted some questions answered because Alex basically questions about the editor, which have kind of been like lying around, and Alec is not always on Discord, so wanted to just get them all in one spot. Uh,
So yeah,
this is a good question. Number one.
number one, when will you gain HP trigger be a thing? Uh,
So
Soon,
the
but not
yeah,
in
so
the
the
next
original
patch.
yeah, so the original idea for triggers like that were that we were putting off a lot of them because we actually wanted to have another shot at the campaign where there are these things that you would kind of mix in, and they would have like widespread effects on your deck. They would be called relics, um, and they would be like essentially a separate rarity, and you would get one maybe every like 2 games or 3 games or something like that, and then we would open up a bunch of triggers for that specific purpose, so that you can people are encouraged to make relics that like whenever you gain HP, you get a 4/4 or something like that. Overpowered effects essentially that would be like fun little things to add into the campaign. Um, so we're going in a different direction with the campaign right now, although that's still kind of on the table. Relics idea still seems like it would be fun to us, but we're just going to try the in-game voting thing and make the campaign scale in difficulty. And because of that, those triggers were um, put off, but there's no reason for us to not have them in the game. So yeah, like Alex said, probably pretty soon.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Why is
This next
dueling
one.
sometimes considered attacking? What's the long-term plan? Will test posts become stupid? Um, so duelist is considered attacking for triggers, but not for uh, you know, things that check if something's attacking or and it's not unaffected by can't attack. And I mean, I could see an argument that it shouldn't trigger off that it attack triggers shouldn't happen off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems more fun that way to me
So
to have that
for me,
option.
like when I look at duel, like in so in Eternal's thing is the keywords interact in interesting ways. Um, so dueling and overrun would work in if we used Eternal's rules. Um, I feel like there's about like 6 different ways that dueling and attacking combine in interesting ways, and we're doing one of them, which is the attack trigger. So if we were doing like 3 or 4 of them, I would say let's go all the way. But because we're only doing one of them, I'm like not so sure about it. It also brings up the fact that we don't have a duels trigger based on the last question. So
We you can check if some that's how that card from last week works.
yeah, but like I didn't know that, and I think almost everybody thought that it was impossible to check if something was dueling. and then they're like, oh, well, it's actually part of the attack trigger. Like, why is that? Um, I don't know. It's up to you, like which one you want to do.
I
I
guess. So like the part of the reason it works like this is because no, I guess that's yeah, never mind about what I was about to say. Um,
like I don't care which, but you should pick one. Basically, that's my opinion.
for
And
pick one for what?
duels are or are not attacks in every way. Because if it's like halfway, it's kind of wonky. And then the issue then is that there's cards like Test Post which have duelist and can attack, and then they would not do anything. So I mean, like
Yeah,
we
no,
can.
definitely duelist and can't attack shouldn't interact. That doesn't make any sense. Um,
Okay.
from a design perspective, like the whole point of can't attack is to give you a, the facility to prevent attacks. And like
Yeah.
if you want to stop duelist, you just remove duelist.
Yeah. Yeah. To be clear, just to clarify for chat, yeah, in Eternal, um, dueling or killer is the mechanic in Eternal. Essentially works like attacking in almost every way. Uh, and I think it interacts with their version of Overrun, um, but not in Collective. The only way that dueling counts as an attack in Collective is with the attack trigger. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we could just take that out.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are
Let's
we
talk
like,
about it offline a little more.
are we going to talk about it offline? Or are we going to just keep kicking the can down the road? Like, I mean, it seems to me like we should take out the attack trigger and then we should uh, make a duels trigger for the God of War card.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, sweet. Do you want me to like write this down because I don't want to forget
Yeah,
it?
I'll write it in the to-dos. 1 second.
Okay, cool. Okay, different monitor. Good. Can't show people that.
Yeah. Okay. Will while loops ever be a thing? Probably not.
Yeah, while loops are very likely to create bugs. So
Yeah, well, yeah, the other thing is it's not that hard to like force the for loop to act like a while loop is the other thing.
interesting. Okay.
One thing I would consider doing that's kind of related is we could add like a specific block for like random damage effects because those are kind of inconsistent right now. Like,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Yep.
Incendium and
Seems fine. People
that
were
stuff.
complaining about that like earlier today.
Yeah, so maybe someday for that, let me write it down and maybe like the
Yeah.
the eventual patch notes.
I mean, just write this stuff down and we'll distribute it among the to-do list as fit. We don't need to figure out where it goes right now.
Yeah. Okay. Will copy paste blocks be a thing? Yes, eventually. Uh, um, Something we've always wanted to have, and it's just always been lower priority than uh, the other stuff we have to do, and it's also hard uh,
Yeah.
and complicated by the fact that the browser doesn't give you access to like your system clipboard.
Right.
Um, what other features besides custom properties and choose that we know about will be locked in the premium card creator? Um,
Yeah, we were intentionally kind of vague about this because we're not entirely sure. One thing which I've been pushing for, and I think Alec has pushed back on, is uh, an animation system. I'm not going to go into it, but basically a different version of the animation system. Um, I don't know exactly what the fourth thing would be, even theoretically. we'd have to kind of go pretty far back into like our early docs about what theoretically people could do in collective and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
but maybe some cosmetic stuff like that, but we're
I
not
think
sure.
one thing we wanted to do for a while was make I this is another one that I like believe really strongly in is the idea of making certain cards which are like a joke rarity or they're joke cards and they're not because they're rarity they would never show up in like a constructed game but they might show up in the wacky game modes for example like 1 out of 100 times and they would ideally be something really stupid and funny. um, I think there's not really a space for that in the game right now and there should be. um, Figuring out a structure for that is um, that's like a bit of a challenge, but I think that the bonus to that is that you could have some stupid cards that are like, if it's a Tuesday, this does 100 damage. If it's any other day of the week, then it does 1 damage. So there's a sort of idea we had really early on to do um, to have access to some things which are completely non-gameplay related. Another example is like if your opponent won the last game, then this is a 10-10. Otherwise, it's a 5-5 or something like that, you know? So some sort of like out of the game information like that would be fun. Or like your opponent made this card. You know, there's a lot of opportunity there for like funny stuff like that, which am, which I think would be really fun. Um, I think it's also that's the kind of stuff that we would really want to see if we wanted to make a push for Twitch, like making these one-off rare occurrences where people are doing wacky things like that. Uh, that's something that, again, you know, it would be great if we had um, the ability to support that in a way that didn't mess up the constructed game. Um, so that might be like the fourth one.
Yeah,
That's just an idea, though.
that's
It's
just
really
yeah,
far off.
it's ways off to say the least.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, carrying over custom properties to other cards ever be possible? So I'm not sure what you mean by this exactly.
Like if one card has um, like if you made a realm where everything goes to um, the the chill out zone. It's like 5 of these cards send things to the chill out zone, and then 4 other cards send things to the you know bring things back from the chill out zone.
Yeah, I mean this is already possible. You just have to name the properties the exact same thing and have the exact same like data type.
And have them be on the player. You want to put them like you want to put the property on the player. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean you could put the property on the player or the card. You can't.
Oh really?
Yeah, um, you could set your own gobbledygook to 3 and then have another card that checks, you know, if your gobbledygook is 3 and draws you a card if it is or something.
Okay. Dang, I thought that they were namespaced properly. I didn't know that.
No, they're
Okay.
not properly.
Okay. Well, now you know.
Yep.
Yeah, pollution of the global namespace. It's a real problem. I guess we're gonna have to deal with. Again, this stream is for the real fans,
Yeah,
so
you can set stuff on the game is a thing you can set properties on. You can set custom properties on the game.
yeah, I
So,
just assumed that they were that it wasn't a big hash map. I was wrong. Okay. Um. So yeah, that's your answer. You can do it already.
yep.
If we're so engrossed with 13 being a natural limit, why is board size 10 instead? There's a lore reason which we can't go into. Next question. In the card block. Next question. In the card blocker, why is there so many variants of the same thing? I.e., this card's controller versus owner versus player. Okay, that's yeah, good question.
Uh, it's kind of future proofing. The the
Yeah,
differences
so
are kind of
clarify. Sorry. I want to go back a couple questions. If your card messes with custom properties from other cards, then we'll find you and kill you. We have your location with our. We've been using Facebook to track users' locations, and we will find you and kill you. Anyway, sorry. Next question in the card block. Yeah. So back to player versus controller versus owner.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a lot of different things. So like this player property is like a property of the player, not the card. Controller is a property of the card, not the player. It kind of depends on what context you're in. They all kind of just show up. If you do like this cards block, then they kind of just all show up, and they all basically do the same thing. Like owner would, if in the eventual case where we have change of control effects, like owner and controller would mean different things, like they do in Magic. It's looking very likely that may never happen because it would probably create too many bugs.
Yeah, this
So
was like Alec working like optimizing ahead of time for
yeah, it was
the
bad.
yeah.
Premature optimization, guys. It's the bane of programmers.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, effectively, they'll all be the same. And if there was ever theoretically a period where we did introduce change of control effects, we'd probably go through everything and figure out some way to evaluate, like, oh, is this owner or controller or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's that's another reason that it's really a huge pain. Like, it would take a really long time for I don't know. People want change of control effects. Yes, it's nice. It's a cool effect. It also, like, look at any card game. There's like four ever. There's four change of control effects. It's cool to have on one card, but it's also cool to have a card that says you skip your opponent's next turn, or you control your opponent's next turn, or whatever. Like, these are always there's always like one or two cards that are like that. So it's just such a low priority for us. And yeah, it would be nice if you had it, but you know, um, I don't know. I think like, to an extent, copying cards is functionality which we do have, and usually card games have like one or two copying cards. We have like a lot for how old the game is and that sort of thing. And for that reason, I'm sort of worried that it's an exciting effect that people see, they like, they upvote, and then there's a lot of them, and then we have to sort of like deal with the repercussions of that. I feel like it's a similar thing for skipping turns effects, change of control effects, that sort of thing. Like, it's maybe not even a good thing for us to necessarily introduce right now.
yeah. People are asking us to address the namespacing issue. Um, it might be an issue eventually. It hasn't been one so far. Uh,
Seriously, if you do that, then like we'll flip the fuck out. Like, I don't know, we'll steal all your gold or something. Like, not really, but
well, like what if people do it unintentionally?
then we'll fix it.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
it.
pretty easy fix.
Yeah, it's not uh, it's not something that I would worry about if I was a player of this game. I would recommend that you guys not worry about it. If it ever comes up, even unintentionally, we'll fix it. There's bugs in plenty of cards. Um. Anyway, uh,
Let's see. Okay, this thing. Okay. Uh, Game seems like a relatively simple game. Why does it use so much resources to run on a computer compared to other online CGs? This seems to be the biggest resource hog I've played. Would y'all looking into optimization in the near future? Asked by Owned. Um, I think we'd have to like. I think maybe we'll do an optimization push eventually, but it is really. It seems. I mean, as far as I can tell, the game works on most people's computers. Like I've got this, old MacBook Air I tested on. Seems to run fine on that. Um,
one thing that people found out recently is that, for whatever reason, if you set the graphics setting for a lot of players, if you, sorry, I'm going to try to talk quieter or louder.
louder.
Um, if you set the graphics settings to uh, fantastic. Sometimes it runs better. And some people have a theory that this is like because of an uncapped VSync thing or something. Most likely, to be completely honest, is because of some dumb Unity package we have or something like that. I don't know what's causing it, but short-term fix, you might want to implement that. We're gonna try to look into that in the next week or two. Um, I can't really promise anything. Again, a lot of the time it's because, like, especially with this browser thing we have, the in-game browser, which just loads a web page. I mean, that stuff is black magic. Like, we have no idea how that works. So,
Yeah,
um,
if that's causing your performance issues, then yeah, I apologize. But it obviously running a browser inside of a game is that's going to be resource intensive.
yeah,
It's definitely something we just can't do on mobile or anything. So
yeah, um, yeah. And if we were release on mobile, we would just have like a link to the website instead of having you load the browser in. But as far as resource management, I mean, um, we're not Epic Games. We don't have like tons of experience optimizing the game, optimizing a game, and then you know we're on top of the Unity engine, so a lot of it is like we have to look into how the Unity engine does things and what the fastest way to do things would be. Um, so it's something that we would like to do, but I think that similar to Linux support, uh, unfortunately, it's something that because we're so small, we kind of have to make it not a very high priority.
yeah,
Let's see. Um, dueling attacking thing. What about interactions between? Yeah, okay. So we kind of went over this already.
yeah. So the conclusion here is we're going to take out dueling
Being
being considered
attacking.
an attack
Yep.
for anything.
Ooh.
Uh, what do these things do? Player as a zone. Okay, so this is getting removed in the next patch, or at least hidden. But the in the game there's your player, and then there's also a representation of your hero attached to your player that kind of works like a card, and it sits in the player zone, and it never moves or does anything. It just is for internal purposes, basically. Good to make it so your heroes kind of work like cards. So it's for our own convenience, and it's getting hidden in the next patch.
Yep.
Block and attack ability. Does it add an effect when you attack or block? No, these are the actual. So internally, attack when you attack or block or play a card or do just about anything in the game. That's like technically you're using an ability. So this so some people have noticed that you can stop attacking and blocking by removing the block or attack ability from units. Before we added can't attack or can't block. Again, it's like an internal thing, and it probably shouldn't be in the editor anymore. Now that I'm
Yep.
thinking about it.
Yep.
One-time effect is a so again, like how we have, like I mentioned, we have um, character, which is like the in-game representation of the hero. One-time effect is like like the convenience, internal convenience version of like Baluk's level 3 effect, where he gets where his units get a bonus for the rest of the game, or any of Heldim's rewards after level 2. So again, this is an internal thing, probably shouldn't show up in the editor. It's just one of those rough edges that we still have. Color as a custom property. This was
This is like an early
originally,
version of
yeah,
well,
this is still sitting around from like a really early version where I think animations were
yeah, it
controlled
was
by
yeah,
by like properties and stuff.
exactly. It was before we had animation definitions, and it was just my idea. I made it as a new thing, uh, which the idea was that you would set a color of an abilities animation or something like that, So it was a data type which we never used. So this definitely needs to get hidden. There's no point for it to be there.
All targets. That's a originally we were gonna have like an interface for picking multiple targets. Now we've decided not to do that. We're just gonna have choose, and yeah. So you either target something in play or you choose from anything.
Mm-hmm.
Defining a trigger as a property. Uh, this, I mean, you could do this, I think, unless there's some issue with it. But like basically, you could, I don't know, pick a trigger for inside your blocks for your effect to happen off of, and switch that around at some point. Um, it'd be pretty like, I don't know, kung fu. But you could do something with it. I don't know what you'd do with it.
Yeah.
Difference between when trigger happens and permanently listen. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom.
All right. Okay, so one trigger and permanently listen. What does permanently listen mean? Oh, well, if that, I mean, it's the same thing as, when you change something permanently or not permanently. It's just the permanent version of attaching a trigger to something. Name of ability is not used, is basically just if it's a keyword. The only those abilities have names. Originally, we weren't sure whether or not all abilities would have names or just keywords. It's turned into just working like other card games where only the keywords have names. This version, addressing God of the Cards, this is just the permanent version of when trigger happens, kind of like all the other things that change or define properties have permanent and not permanent versions. Is until only doable with nothing and a turn or end of phase, or can it be used to make something last as long as a condition is true? Yes. That's exactly how it works, except it's until the condition is true. So like if you say until end of turn or end of this phase, what you're really doing is creating a new like value that once it's no longer the current turn will become true, and that'll delete the effect of this block basically. So you could just stick any true false, any continuously updated true false value in here and it'll work.
Yeah, I think that's something we never really explained properly. Might make certain cards easier to use.
Yeah, we're gonna like add a little like a bit better UI for this in a patch or two.
Yeah, because like the vast majority of the time people use that, they're just using until some number of turns or until forever. And so we're going to make it so that those are kind of defaults. And then if you want to go into something more specific, then you can, click something and it'll expand into like, oh, when this is false. Um, yeah, Luco, just another thing. It sounds like you were kind of disappointed that some of these things you found kind of lying around in the editor were just things that you weren't supposed to mess with. Just want to say there's still one thing which is in the editor. It's in the card creator, which nobody's figured out yet that people can do. Um, I've been waiting for people to do it since the beginning. It's kind of it's kind of hidden. You wouldn't be able to figure it out only looking at the card creator. Uh, but yeah, I'm not going to tell you any more than that. I'm just waiting for somebody to find it and see what happens because I think it'll be funny when it does.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll tell you after the stream.
Okay.
It's harmless also. It won't like mess with the rules at all. It's just something that'll be really funny once people figure it out. All right.
Can we have one unit duels? Yes, we're doing that.
Yep.
With the functionality to store abilities in custom properties, will we be will we eventually be able to use a block to force those stored abilities to fire? Yes, eventually. I would like to make it so you can force like cards to be played or um,
Yeah.
wacky stuff like that.
You won't find it in the API, by the way. Uh, are there plans to change the functionality of moving cards into the resolving zone? Currently, it sits in the zone forever. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, like maybe theoretically, but
That's more like this. Like if we were gonna have a thing where you could force a card to be played, it would be a block that forces an ability to be played or a card to be played. It wouldn't be like a change where just whatever's in the resolving zone eventually resolves.
yeah. Um,
What are the exact circumstances that cause a card in your hand to be visible to your opponent? So this is being clarified in the next patch. Um, we're doing, we've been, I did a little bit of cleanup here. So now, like for example, you'll now be able to hover over cards in your opponent's hand that are face up to you. But it should basically be, stuff that that you have seen that hasn't gone back to the deck should be visible.
yep. Let's see. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask a question. Fire. And while you write it out, we'll answer the last one here. We'll get some indicator for when cards are activated in the future, such as feed cards.
When cards are activated in the future.
I mean, there's an
So
animation for when the thing gets fed.
are you talking about um, like an activated ability indicator or triggered ability indicator like in Magic Online or something? I'm not quite sure because there is an animation that plays when you feed and a noise.
And a noise. Oh, and a noise.
Yeah.
There's an animation that plays when you feed and annoys me. Yeah, there's a little animation there. That's actually one of the things that once I finally get some time to add some more animations, I kind of want like a chomp animation for feed, and then also there's some card like consume that I think would be good with it.
Yeah.
Uh, they have it in Hearthstone, something like that. Um, yeah, for docs for the JSON format of the cards.
No.
Yeah,
Because we change it a lot, actually.
it's also, I mean, writing down the docs for that would take a really long time. Um, and yeah, I mean, the primary way that you're supposed to, if you have some sort of like reason that you want to do that, like again, we're always like really impressed, specifically, I mean, with everybody, like all the stuff they do, like Luco Grammar or uh, uh, I don't know. There's like a ton of stuff that people do. The whole test server, like, that's awesome. You guys are like testing things out for us and helping us with balance, making cards and everything. And Fire is like one of the most impressive. Like the card fetcher bot is really cool. Like when I tell people like on the business side of things, we have somebody who made a chat bot which fetches cards not only from collective but from other games as well. Also has like meme commands where you can add memes and stuff. They're like, wow, this is really cool. It's awesome. And so if there's any way we can help you out if with something specifically you want to do with that, uh, definitely talk to us. But as far as just opening up the API and having docs for it, we're not like we're not a SaaS company. We're a game ultimately, so we'd probably want to like it would probably be easier for everybody if you specifically told us what you wanted to do with it. And then we can help you with that and talk about another thing is I guess sometimes people go ahead and ask the last question. Sometimes people want to do something and it's not really something we intend for them to do as well. So it's a conversation, not really an open API where people can do whatever they want. Last question.
Last question.
Are our deck lists stored on our computer?
No.
No, they're not. Unless you copy and paste them.
Yeah.
Then they're stored on your clipboard.
Yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
yeah. Thanks a lot for sticking around. I'm really surprised our viewer numbers didn't go down during this during this. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. If you have any more questions like this, you can send them to me. If there's like a bunch of things like this, we can do another Q&A session like this. But it sounds like this has been all the questions in the last like 8 months or something, and a lot of them, especially like the revealing cards in hand and the tactical stuff, we're just gonna fix. So
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot for joining
Thanks
us.
everyone.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you.